At 62, James was told his prostate issues were just part of aging, until his urologist shared a secret. Your daily habits are rewriting your biology. 6 months later, his tests shocked everyone. Here's what changed. Number 1. The diagnosis that changed everything. James gripped the clinic's report, the words enlarged prostate staring back. His doctor's shrug, normal at your age, felt like a life sentence. But then Dr. Carter leaned in. Medication isn't your only option. There's a study on men over 60 who reversed this with habits. James scoffed. Habits? I'm in pain now. The doctor scribbled an address. Meet Leo. He was worse than you. Now, he runs marathons. James crumpled the paper. Quack science, he thought. But that night, pain shot through his back like a knife. He uncrumpled the address. Number 2. The power of the morning ritual. James stood outside Leo's small apartment, hesitating. The door creaked open before he could knock. A lean man in his 70s, barely a wrinkle, eyes sharp, smiled. Prostate problems, right? James stiffened. How did you? Leo cut him off. Because every man who comes here has the same story. He handed James a steaming mug. This is your first habit. Saw palmetto tea. Not the pills, the real herb. Boosts urine flow, calms inflammation. Drink it daily. James took a sip, expecting bitterness. Instead, warmth spread through his chest. Tastes like wood. Leo laughed. Good. Means it's authentic. He led James to a balcony garden, bursting with plants. Most men think the prostate is some alien organ. It's not. It's a barometer, shows how toxic your life is. He plucked a leaf, crushed it between his fingers. Second habit. 45-minute morning walks. No excuses. Not slow strolls, power walks. Legs pumping, arms swinging. James frowned. How's walking gonna fix my blood flow? Leo interrupted. Your prostate's suffocating. Sedentary life, sitting for hours, it's like strangling it. Walk like your life depends on it. Because it does. He pointed to James' phone. Track your steps. 8,000 daily. Less than that? You're aging faster. A memory flashed. James' father, bedridden with catheter tubes. The fear hit like a truck. What else? He whispered. Leo's voice dropped. Cold showers. 2 minutes every morning. James recoiled. That's torture. Leo shrugged. So is pissing razor blades. Cold water spikes testosterone, kills inflammation. Your prostate thrives on it. He tossed James a towel. Start tomorrow. No coffee until you've done all 3. Tea, walk, cold shower. James left, clutching the herbs Leo gave him. That night, he set his alarm for 5:30 a.m. This is insane, he thought. But for the first time in years, he felt hope. Number 3. The forgotten mineral that reverses damage. The alarm blared at 5:30 a.m. James groaned, his body begging for 5 more minutes. Then he remembered the pain, the burning, the sleepless nights. He forced himself up. The cold shower was worse than he imagined. His breath came in ragged gasps as icy water stabbed his skin. But when he stepped out, something strange happened. His mind was clearer. Leo was waiting at the park, stretching effortlessly. You came, he said, smirking. James huffed. Barely. As they walked, Leo dropped the bombshell. Most doctors won't tell you this, but prostate issues? They're not just about age. They're about zinc deficiency. James blinked. Zinc? Like in vitamins? Leo shook his head. Not the crap in stores. Real zinc. Pumpkin seeds, a handful every single day. And oysters if you can afford them. He tossed James a small bag of seeds. Chew them slowly. Let the oils coat your throat. Within weeks, your urinary tract will thank you. James popped a seed in his mouth. Tastes like dirt. Good, Leo chuckled. Means it's working. Then his tone turned serious. But here's the kicker, zinc alone won't save you. You've got to stop poisoning yourself. He pulled a folded study from his pocket. See this? Men who drink more than 2 cups of coffee daily double their prostate inflammation. And alcohol? Flushes zinc right out of your body. James' stomach dropped. Coffee was his lifeline. So what? I just quit. Leo's eyes locked onto his. For 6 weeks? Yes. Then we test. If your symptoms improve, you'll know it's not just aging. It's choices. That afternoon, James stared at his coffee machine. His hand hovered, then he unplugged it. Number. For the nighttime secret that heals cells. 3 weeks without coffee felt like detoxing from a drug. James' headaches had finally faded, but the real test came at night, when his prostate pain usually spiked. Yet tonight something was different. Leo had given him strict instructions. 90 minutes before bed, you shut off every screen. No TV, no phone, no excuses. James had laughed at first. What am I, a monk? But Leo's response stuck with him. Your prostate heals at night, but only if your brain thinks it's actually night. So here he was, sitting in dim candlelight, reading an old novel. His phone buzzed in the other room, a work email. He gritted his teeth. Ignore it. At exactly 9:30 p.m., he drank the bitter herbal tea Leo insisted on, nettle root and hibiscus, a natural diuretic combo that reduced nighttime bathroom trips. Then came the strangest part. Lying flat on the floor with his legs up the wall. Venous drainage, Leo had called it. 5 minutes like this resets pelvic blood flow better than any pill. First, James felt ridiculous. But by night 5, something shifted. He slept through the night, number 3 a.m. bathroom runs. When he mentioned this to Leo, the old man just nodded. Melatonin doesn't just help you sleep. It's a prostate antioxidant. But artificial light? Kills it dead. Then came the real test. Leo handed him a blackout sleep mask. Wear this. Even streetlights disrupt healing. James balked. You want me to blindfold myself? Leo's voice dropped to a whisper. The men who do this, their PSA levels drop faster. Your choice. That night, James lay in total darkness, his mind racing. Then, without realizing it, he drifted off. When his alarm chimed at 6 a.m., he bolted upright. He hadn't woken up once. Number 5. The hidden deficiency ruining men's health. James woke up feeling something he hadn't experienced in years: actual rest. No grogginess, no burning urgency to urinate. As he stretched, his body felt lighter. The morning walk had become routine now, but today Leo wasn't at their usual meeting spot. Instead, James found a note taped to the park bench. Asterisk blood test today. Ask for these 3 tests they never run: vitamin D3, magnesium, RBC, and selenium. Don't let them tell you it's normal. Get exact numbers. Meet me at the clinic. Asterisk. The doctor's office was crowded when James arrived. Leo sat in the corner, flipping through a medical journal. He didn't even look up as James approached. They won't test for these unless you demand it, Leo muttered. Because treating symptoms pays better than curing causes. When James' name was called, the young physician smiled politely. Standard prostate panel? James slid Leo's list across the desk. These 2. The doctor's smile faltered. These aren't necessary for. I'll pay out of pocket. The blood draw took minutes. The waiting took days. When the results came, Leo pored over them like a detective. Just as I thought, he growled. Your vitamin D is at 18 nanograms per milliliter. Optimal is 60 to 80. And your magnesium? Pathetic. James blinked. But my regular doctor said. Of course he did. Leo cut in. Because the normal ranges are set for average sick people, not optimal health. He pulled a small bottle from his pocket. 5,000 IU of D3 daily with fatty meals. 400 milligrams of magnesium glycinate before bed. And these. He produced Brazil nuts. 2 daily for selenium. The prostate hoards selenium like gold. Without it, cells can't repair. That night, James lay in bed studying the supplements. Part of him wondered if this was all placebo. But another part, the part that could now sleep through the night, knew better. 3 weeks later, the changes became undeniable. The constant dull ache behind his bladder? Gone. The urinary hesitancy that made public bathrooms a nightmare? Vanished. Even his skin looked different, less ashen, more vibrant. At their next meeting, Leo finally smiled. Now you understand. The prostate isn't some independent rogue organ. It's the canary in your body's coal mine. Fix the deficiencies, you fix the man. He leaned closer. But we're not done yet. The next habit will test everything you think you know about modern medicine. Number 6. The supplement scam and the ancient remedy that actually works. James stared at the mountain of empty supplement bottles on his kitchen counter. Saw palmetto, beta-sitosterol, pygeum, all the prostate health pills he'd wasted hundreds on over the years. Leo picked one up, snorted, and tossed it in the trash. Modern snake oil, he spat. Most of these contain dust of the actual herb. Even when they're real, they're missing the synergy. He pulled a worn leather journal from his bag, pages filled with handwritten notes and pressed leaves. My grandfather treated prostate issues in our village with one thing: whole plant therapy. He opened to a marked page showing a sketch of a jagged-leafed plant. Urtica dioica, stinging nettle root, not leaf. Most supplements use the wrong part. You need the fresh root, simmered for hours to make a thick decoction. James frowned. That's it? Just nettle tea? Leo's eyes flashed. Not just tea. Prepared exactly right. 2 ounces dried root per quart, boiled down by half. 1 cup every morning on an empty stomach. He shoved a muslin bag of gnarly roots at James. Tastes like swamp water. Works like nothing else. That evening, James hovered over a bubbling pot of the foul-smelling brew. His wife pinched her nose. You're really going to drink that? He hesitated, then remembered his last urologist visit, the way the doctor had reached for his prescription pad before James even finished speaking. He poured the dark liquid into a mug. The first sip nearly made him gag. The second was somehow worse. But by day 5, something remarkable happened. His urine stream strengthened noticeably. By day 10, the nighttime trips reduced to 1. At their next meeting, Leo didn't even ask. He took one look at James' face and nodded. The pharmaceutical companies hate this because you can't patent a weed that grows in ditches. He leaned in. But here's the moral most men never learn. Nature already wrote the prescription, we just stopped reading it. James thought of all the doctors who'd pushed pills at him, the slick supplement ads he'd fallen for. The answer had been buried in ancient herbalist texts all along: simple, cheap, and brutally effective. Leo stood to leave, then turned back. You've got all 6 habits now. The tea, the walks, the cold showers, the minerals, the sleep ritual, and this. He tapped the nettle pot. Do them all, and in 6 months, you won't even remember you had a problem. As James watched him go, he realized the greatest healing wasn't in his prostate. It was in his mind. He'd been conditioned to believe only expensive, complex solutions worked. But true health wasn't about adding, it was about remembering. James stood in front of the mirror, towel around his waist, examining his reflection. The dark circles under his eyes had faded. His skin had a healthy glow he hadn't seen in a decade. Most importantly, he could finally sleep through the night without bathroom trips. 6 months ago, he'd been ready to schedule surgery. Now, his urologist had stared at his latest PSA test results in disbelief. Whatever you're doing, the doctor had said, keep doing it. The park where he'd first met Leo was now filled with familiar faces, men in their 50s, 60s, and 70s who had noticed James' transformation. They came with the same desperate hope he'd once carried. All right, gentlemen, James said, unpacking a thermos of nettle root tea. Today we're talking about the magnesium myth. That cheap oxide stuff at the drugstore? Worthless. Here's what actually works. As he passed around samples of pumpkin seeds and demonstrated the proper wall legs posture, James realized this had become his new purpose. Not just healing himself, but breaking the cycle of misinformation that kept men suffering. One particularly skeptical newcomer, a retired banker named Richard, crossed his arms. You expect me to believe weeds and walks are better than my $300 per month prescriptions? James didn't argue. He simply handed Richard his before and after test results. The proof, he said quietly, is in the numbers. By summer's end, the group had grown to 20 regulars. They shared tips, celebrated each other's progress, and yes, complained bitterly about the taste of nettle tea. But the results spoke for themselves. On the 1-year anniversary of meeting Leo, James arrived at their usual bench to find it empty except for a single Brazil nut and a note. The student has become the teacher. Keep the circle growing. James smiled, tucked the note in his pocket, and began setting up for that morning's meeting. More men were coming every week. The movement was growing. And it all started with 6 simple habits and the courage to try them. Moral: True healing begins when we take responsibility for our health. The medical system has its place, but no one will care about your well-being more than you. These 6 habits work not because they're miraculous, but because they honor fundamental laws of biology we've forgotten. Your body wants to heal. Are you ready to get out of its way?